Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. US President Joe Biden will visit Israel on Wednesday to hear about its plans for a ground attack in Gaza.
The President will reaffirm the United States' solidarity with Israel and our ironclad commitment to its security.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken himself in Israel announcing the plans. He said the president will hear from Israel what it needs to defend its people as we continue to work with Congress to meet those needs. In Khan Younis in the south, hundreds of thousands of people have arrived after Israel warned them to leave the north. People are sleeping in the streets and running water is limited while there are queues for bread outside bakeries. Police in Brussels have shot a man suspected of killing 2 Swedish nationals on Monday evening. Here, footage of the man dressed in red shooting people at random. The man was shot and killed later by police in a cafe. 2 Swedes were killed and a 3rd person injured in the automatic rifle attack which took place during the Belgium-Sweden Euro 2024 qualifier football match. Brussels has been on its highest terror alert ever since. The gunman is believed to be a 45-year-old man of Tunisian origin who was in Belgium illegally after having his asylum application rejected. The European Parliament observed a minute's silence in memory of the 2 people killed.
Last night, 3 people left for what was supposed to be a wonderful soccer party. 2 of them lost their lives in a brutal terrorist attack. Their lives were cut short in full flight, cut down by extreme brutality. Our thoughts go first and foremost to the families and to the friends of the victims.
President Vladimir Putin has arrived in China, Russia's most important ally, for a key trip that will seek to shore up an alliance against the West and celebrate ties between Beijing and Moscow. Putin and his entourage flew into the Beijing Capital International Airport on Tuesday morning in the Kremlin chief's first official trip outside of the former Soviet Union this year. China is throwing a huge celebration to mark 10 years of the Belt and Road Initiative, with the Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban and the Taliban government also attending. Hardline Republican Jim Jordan has picked up support for his campaign to lead the US House of Representatives as he aims to bulldoze opposition within his own party. Several of Jordan's fellow Republicans said they would support his bid for House Speaker, whittling down his opposition from the 55 lawmakers who had voted against endorsing. It was unclear whether he would be able to unite his party enough to prevail in a floor vote expected later today.
We need to get a speaker tomorrow. The American people deserve to have their Congress, their House of Representatives working. And we can't have that happen until you get a speaker, so we need to do that.
South Korean President Yoon has pledged to boost the defense industry as part of a national security strategy addressing the opening of the country's largest ever defense exhibition. Yoon said overwhelming capabilities of the South Korea-US alliance are on display at the biennial Seoul International Airspace and Defense Exhibition. A rare flyover by a US nuclear-capable B-52 strategic bomber was showcased during the opening ceremony held at Seoul Airport in Seongnam. And Australia's iconic Sydney Opera House has turned 50 years old.
The Sydney Opera House. Then Paul Robeson became the first.
Construction began in 1959 and was expected to be completed in around 4 years, with a cost estimated at $7 million Australian dollars. Around 10,000 workers constructed the building, which actually took over 14 years and ended up costing 102 million Australian dollars.
This surely must be one of the most spectacular moments.
More than 1 million spectators lined the foreshores of Sydney Harbour as Queen Elizabeth II officially opened the venue. It has since hosted thousands of concerts, exhibitions and tournaments, and is regularly illuminated to pay tribute to people or to mark events. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.